Hello, so today we are going to do this problem, which is part of Leetcode's daily challenge, time-based key value store. So the problem says is we have a time-based key value data structure where we can store multiple values for the same key at different timestamp. And what we want is to retrieve the key value at a certain timestamp, right? So it's a time map class, and we have two functions, set and get. Set gets three values: the key, the value, and the timestamp. And we want to store for the key a pair of value and the timestamp. You can imagine like value is something that occurred at this timestamp. And the get function gets two values, gets the key and the timestamp. And what we want to do is return a value such that the timestamp, we want to return a value that is smaller or equal than the provided timestamp. And if there are multiple of them, like if the key was the key has multiple values associated, then we want to return the one with the largest timestamp, right? So the most recent one. And if there are no values, so the key is not even present, we want to return empty string, right? Yeah, so that's the problem here. Now let's see how we can solve it. Okay, so how can we solve this? Well, the easiest way, if we assume like we get these set values in order, which sort of seems like it in these examples, then it's super simple. So let's first solve it that way, like assuming that we'll get set called in order, so we'll end up with a list sorted, right? What we can do is just have a map, right? Have a map with the pair of values being the timestamp and the value, right? So let's just call it time. And in Python, let's default to list because we want to just add values to a list. So we can use default dictionary of list, right? And whenever we get a set, we just add the value. And when we get, we can just binary search because what the problem wants is the largest value that is smaller or equal than timestamp. So that's easy to do with binary search. We can either write our own. So it's the closest smaller or equal value. That's what we are looking for. So we can either use our own binary search or just in Python use bisect to find it, right? And so here we will use binary search to find timestamp. And this is of course like to find the value. And this is of course assuming set will be called with increasing timestamp values, right? We'll solve it later, assuming it doesn't. And so here, what do we want to do? We just want to add it. So we take the time key. For that key, we want to add the new value. So this would be timestamp as the first element, so that when we binary search will use the first value and value, right? So if we already inserted in it, we'll just append. If it's we haven't inserted yet, then with this we will get an empty list and we'll add this to it. Okay, so now when we get a get, first if the key doesn't exist even, then we want to return an empty string. So if the key is not in self.time, then we want to return empty, right? But otherwise we want to binary search. You could of course like write your own functions, but we've done that so many times. You can look at other problems. So I'll just do it here using Python's bisect to give a different way. So we can bisect, and this would do bisect right. So it will look at the closest. So it will find the index after all the values smaller. So what that would mean is we will need to do -1 to get the exact position of the value that is smaller than it, right? So basically what I mean here is that let's say we have a values here, and it will find this value, which is the insertion point, and this insertion point is bigger or equal than actually guaranteed to be bigger than all the values that are smaller than this time. And so to get the closest smaller, we just do -1 and do it and get this one here, right? And so that's what we do here. And what do we pass to bisect? Well, we need to pass the list itself. We need to pass the value we are looking for. So that's timestamp. And we want to find in the pair, we want to get the first value. So we can use key, just similar to sort. And we want to binary search for the first value. So that's why we do x0 here. And this will give us the index we are looking for. And so we can just do self.time. So sorry, here the list we are looking at is self.time.key. This is the list we are looking for because self.time contains all the keys. We only want the one for this key. And so here we can do key, and we have the index. And what do we want? We want the value, so that at the position 1 in the pair, right? Now, one small thing is what if there is no value smaller than it? So maybe y is here instead, right? So there is no small value. So we need to check if this is smaller than 0, then we just return empty string, right? Because it doesn't, there is no value, right? Smaller than it. Cool, so we return that, and that should be it. And let's submit. Okay, so that passes test cases. Now, the one thing I mentioned is that what if these values are not called in order, right? So we can either insert and then sort, right? Or even like easier in Python, we have a bisect insert function that we can use, which will insert the value at the right position. In the list in an ordered way, right? If your interviewer says you can't do that, you can insert and then sort, but then that will take also a long time. But yeah, for now we'll just use this insert. So what do we do here? So if so we can actually just do bisect dot insert, and we give it the list. And what do we want to add? We want to add the timestamp, the value like this. And so let's try this. Let's submit. Okay, so that passes test cases. Another alternative is to also use a sorted list in Python, which will maintain the order of the elements you inserted in, and also supports a bisect function. So that's also another option. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for today's problem. Please like and subscribe, and see you on the next one. Bye.